Hi, fellow chipmunks. This is Chipmunk Speaks, Allura G, with a prompt of questions for family matters, finding the words to say when there are none at all. I hope that by the end of this video, you will begin to have an open mind and better understanding of the history that is generational trauma and how to bounce back from family woes. There will be future topics on the latest and greatest news, but this will be a full-on series for the next couple of holidays. Thanksgiving and Christmas are times when family gather to pretend that everything is okay, but never get around to asking the greatest questions. How do I make time for family? Tonight I'm interviewing hashtag Eucharist Painter 007 over the following questions. Question 1. How would you deal with members of your family that try to control you? What coping mechanisms would you suggest, and what are the best ways you would say would be to handle a situation when a family member tries to control you? Question 2. What would be the best way to get families to schedule a family mealtime instead of eating at separate times? And last but not least, question 3. What is the best way for families to incorporate prayer in their life? So, Eucharist Painter, how are you?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm doing awesome. Now, let's talk about question 1. So, when you were saying you have family members that try to control you, what would be one great example?
Um, I guess one way that my family members try to control me is that my father tries to micromanage me. Like he um, takes control of my finances, and like if I do something that he doesn't want me to do, he will actually like say that he's going to take away my house or my car, or he'll try to emotionally blackmail me. So that's one way. And then another way that my family members try to control me is that my sister, I babysit for her. I mean, she pays me, but it's just she also like like when if I ever do something that she doesn't want me to do, like she'll automatically like try to tell me like what to do, and then she'll like she also do a lot of her shopping for her, like her grocery shopping, and she doesn't actually pay me extra for that, but she like she I do a lot of her grocery shopping for her, and she does a lot of micromanaging with that too.
Hmm.
So and we fight a lot too. But she always tries to like she basically just complains a lot too. But it's just she 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 basically like will fight a lot with me, but it's just she's very controlling. So
Hmm.
that's basically it.
All right. So, what advice I would give you about controlling members of your family? I would say to not give them anything to control you over. And basically, if they're going to take something away from you, start getting things for yourself. And when you have control that way, no one can take it away from you. That's the first thing that I would do.
It's kind of hard for me to do that at this point in life. So until I get an actual full time job, it's hard for me to do that at this point in life.
I see.
So that's why I'm in this situation right now.
Okay.
So that's I'm like kind of stuck right now. And so my parents tried to tell me like what kind of jobs I have to get, or that's why I'm stuck babysitting for my sister, because I'm stuck babysitting for her because they won't let me get a full time job until it's on her terms that I can stop babysitting for her.
So
So
it's mostly your family members are basically using you instead of helping you out in these times.
basically, yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's crazy, to be honest. Like, in my instance, I feel like if I were to say how I truly feel, probably wouldn't have the family members that I have today. But just going off of what you're saying about the controlling family members, um, the way that they manipulate you, it's honestly very stressful. I bet it's very stressful.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. All right, we'll come back to that in a minute. But let's go over question 2. What would be the best way to get families to schedule a family mealtime instead of eating at separate times? All right. Now, what I would say is to basically set a time at the end of the day where everyone is basically at the same place at the same time. So, say you've got soccer game 8 o'clock, and everyone is in the house before 8 o'clock. I'd say set dinner to be at least 50 or an hour before you have to go to that soccer game.
Well, I want to also stress the importance of having family mealtime together.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't understand what the importance of family mealtime is.
Mm-hmm.
Because first of all, it gives you an opportunity to talk about your days together, and it gives you a stronger family bond, and it lets you have like basically it gives like the children like a stronger family structure for the day, and for like the whole like for like it gives them like a better structure for growing up basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it's better to do that like from a young age, like from the until like they're like teenagers, I feel like, instead of like and it's probably harder when they're like when they're doing like separate things like and it gets harder when they're doing more things, but it's always good. I feel like to schedule like one meal, at least one meal at all times, like as a whole family, as a cohesive unit,
Yeah.
to have like one meal time at least together.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's important, especially for the father to be there too. I feel like because like the father is always like the head of the household, and they need to be like a strong leader in the family, especially a strong spiritual leader. So.
Mm-hmm. I feel like in most these times are very trying, and I feel like there are more single parent homes than there are two parent homes. And some families are even guardianship over children. And it's basically the grandparents taking care of the children because the parents are just not around and or basically in jail. And it's kind of hard to have that separate that have that mealtime together when everyone's not in the house because of all these different circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have to identify is basically how do we make time when they're not even around.
Well, even if it is the grandparents, so it should be like the grandparents and the children together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would be like whatever head of the household would be.
Mm.
So or whatever guardian would be like the head. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, question 3. What is the best way for families to incorporate prayer in their life? Now, personally, I would say prayer is one of the first sentences that you have to start as a child. Like, literally starting when they're able to speak. And when I say able to speak, I mean more than just mama, dada. I mean full sentences. So they're able to like put together words that have meaning, such as, the Our Father prayer. Um, Most everyone knows that prayer. I mean, especially if you're Christian. I mean, even if you're not, there's also like prayers in different religions that everyone should instill in their children so that they have a foundation with their spiritual side, and basically incorporating it in a way that, you know, starts small but ends up being a bigger part of their life at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Mm. As a Catholic, I believe that families need to incorporate prayer first as a couple. Mm. Like if the couple prays, then it'll lead into their family life. Mm. So I know couples that before they go to bed every night, they'll put the sign of the cross over each other, and like before they go to bed, or they'll pray a rosary every day before, at least once before, like once throughout the day. Mm. Or you could also pray grace before meals. That's one way to incorporate prayer, and then always do bedtime prayer before you go to bed. That's always a good way to incorporate prayer, I believe. And then just have a set time to schedule prayer, not even just in your individual life, but have a set family prayer time. Maybe if you do have that family meal time, maybe you pray it before or after the meal. Mm-hmm. So that's how I think. Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a really nice thing to do, to have that special hour in the day where you, I guess, start a prayer time, or maybe even just now I lay me down to sleep. I pray my Lord the soul to keep. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I didn't say that right, but but yeah, I feel like having those, childhood prayers is a good way to, start having that relationship with your spiritual side, no matter what religion you're in. And also it's a great way to have that physical aspect with the spiritual aspect, because you're doing the sign of the cross, and or you're getting on your hands and knees to pray to the east or something, or you're doing the Torah, and you're doing the prayers in the Torah. And I feel like incorporating this is, one way to make sure that, okay, this will live on in my child, and I will always remember their little prayer when they were young. And all the way up until the end of time, there will always be that instance of having that, little successes in life as, instances of making sure that your son or daughter or child is basically, having that oneness, that special time with the Lord. Well, it was nice talking to you, Eucharist Eucharist Painter 007. How was that?
It was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So this is just a tidbit. We will definitely get over the rest of the questions in the next series. This is Chipmunk Speaks Podcaster. I will see y'all later, chipmunks. Have a great evening, morning, afternoon.